Today, Congressman Steve King from Iowa, and he's joining me right now. Congressman, welcome. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me on. Good to see you, Jerry.
All right, you got to tell me about this meeting. What was it like? What was the president like? What was his tone like? Does he seem like he's ready to compromise?
Well, it doesn't seem like he's ready to compromise. He makes some sounds like he's ready to compromise. I will say that when the president comes into the room, he handles himself well. And it was comfortable and relaxed, and you have to watch his body language really closely to see what he's really saying. But as I listened to the dialogue that went back and forth, he did make a remark that there was nothing that he could put on the table that would pass muster or be approved by the Republican conference. And that was met with some grumblings of, that's not true, sir. We can help you put it on the table, and it would pass muster.
So is he saying, I don't want to compromise? Is that the position he's taking?
No, actually, he said straight out that he's willing to compromise, and he's willing to make some tough compromises. He made no offers as to what they might be. Right. And a lot of the dialogue went back and forth on the demagoguery that's going on. It was opened up initially on our side of this about the demagoguery of the Medicare component of the Republican budget. And that got kicked back and forth like a ping pong ball by almost everybody, because it is getting demagogued on both sides, I think, but very intensively from the president's side, and he's given them license to do it. That doesn't help the dialogue, and it doesn't help us reach a resolution of the debt ceiling.
Well, let's talk about that demagoguing the Medicare, the new Metascare issue that's going on. I want you to respond to a comment from Representative Paul Ryan, who came up with a plan to change Medicare.
We got to take on this debt, and if we demagogue each other at the leadership level, then we're never going to take on our debt. We have a debt crisis coming. We want to deal with this. And if we want to grow jobs in the economy, we got to get our spending under control. We got to get our debt under control. And if we try to demagogue each other's attempts to do that, then we're not applying the kind of political leadership we need to get this economy growing and get this debt under control. That's basically what we were saying. Well,
Congressman King, you got to say the guy is consistent. He always says the same thing. He has a point of view that he's always putting across. Is he going to be successful here? Is he going to get across his plans now or in the future?
Well, right now it is an open question, and there would have been many other Congresses and many other members of Congress would have stepped away and avoided the confrontation that is coming over the entitlements, and particularly under Medicare. So I think we're right on this argument. We actually save Medicare. We give it a parachute. We give it a way to survive. There is no plan from the other side. And no plan means certain death for Medicare. It's eventually will happen, and within a short period of time. So we have to address it, and I think Paul's very consistent on this, and he's right. And the president said that when he was challenged for not having a proposal, he said he offered $2 trillion in cuts and $1 trillion in revenue increases by closing new loopholes in taxes. And on Medicare especially, he says he addressed it in his health care bill. What they did was cut Medicare by $532 billion in his health care bill. I don't think that's a solution.
Well, let's drill down on this a little bit, because some of the Democrats are saying that what Ryan wants to do is kill Medicare as we know it. Maybe that's not true, but he certainly is changing it, and changing it dramatically, to a voucher system. It seems like the Republicans aren't even willing to concede that much. But that's true, right? Come on, it's a big change.
Well, there's not a concession that Republicans are going to make on the word voucher. Premium support plan they will go along with, and there are some variances in that and how that works. But what it does is it guarantees those benefits for everybody 55 and up. And so when you hear the language from the other side that it changes Medicare as we know it, well, how does anybody know how we know it? People that have any experience don't really know it at all. That definition is something that I think needs to be refined. But here's this: that if we don't address the entitlements, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and the interest payments, this economy will collapse, and it will go underneath the place where Greece is, where Ireland is today. We must address it. It takes courage to do so. And whether we win this debate with the American people is going to depend on who's there first with the truth the most consistently, and what the American people are willing to believe. I think they're going to believe our side. They must, if there's a future for this country.
How far apart are your two sides in dollar terms? Let's not talk about changing programs here, but the money, the numbers, and can you come together?
We will get together. I do think this debt ceiling will be addressed. There will be a vote that has a chance to pass sometime in the upcoming couple of months, is my guess, maybe a little longer than that. But the way this Congress works, it's not going to be something that came out of the meeting in the White House today. It set a certain tone, and there were things that were said that were essentially platitudes on both sides. But in the end, there's going to have to be pressure brought to bear. That means there will be brinksmanship played by the White House, brinksmanship played by the Democrats in Congress, and hopefully a real good game of brinksmanship being played by the Republican leadership in the House of Representatives.
You know, I'm just settling in for August 2nd because I think that's when the metal will hit the pedal, or
you are right.
Pedal will hit the road, or you know what I mean, right, Congressman King?
I do know what you mean. I could throw a couple other metaphors in there, but I think you're stumbling enough. I don't want to try it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much.